Alright, guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Nolan Uneho, who asked me to do a Star Trek Godzilla crossover. But today, we're going to be doing something a little different, because this subject was something that I had talked about with a friend of mine, and I brought that friend here to kind of do that kind of, help with this video. And that is Matt Dennion, the creator of Atomic Rex himself. Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. Happy holidays to everybody out there. I'm always thrilled to be on Mr. Multiverse's channel. If I can give a very, very quick plug, since we just mentioned Atomic Rex, the newest Atomic Rex book, Atomic Rex Big in Japan, with Alan O.W. Lawrence, who did the Big in Japan series with Timothy Price, will be out hopefully in January, with a little surprise in there too, Tyler. We can point more about that out later. So, but anyway, I'm thrilled to be here to do this video.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And yeah, we're going to be doing Godzilla, a crossover idea for Star Trek Godzilla. Something that could actually happen. Can you just wrap your head around that we could actually get that now?
Yeah. We've talked before a few years ago, maybe 20 years ago, so maybe more than a few. Toho wasn't doing anything, but now we get Godzilla crossovers all the time. We got, in comics, the first Power Rangers one. We got the Justice League one now. We've got Power Rangers Godzilla 2 coming out. We've seen Godzilla in things like Shinkalion anime. It could definitely happen. It could definitely happen at this point, especially with talks of a WB Paramount merger being in the works.
Yeah, which I'm still I don't know if I want that. I don't think
I don't know if I want that either, but
yeah, that's
what it is.
It is what it is. So yeah, we're going to talk about our ideas for what a Godzilla Star Trek crossover would be. Matt, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I was thinking the best way to do it might be in the original series, in my opinion. I think would be a fun way to do it. Because at first I was thinking it might be fun to do Next Generation, or with either the Millennial series, or something like that, because of the Borg, and it might fit well with Kiru. But I feel like every crossover has a Borg, so I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
So I thought a cool idea would be the original series, and maybe we see something where it's like a combination with the Gorn from Star Trek, and either the Black Hole aliens from Mechagodzilla, or maybe more likely the Space Hunter M Nebula ones from Gigan would be a fun way to go. So I think an interesting way to do this would be to tie maybe a bit of the Star Trek 4 concept into this, where the Gorn, let's say with the help of the Space Hunter M Nebulas, aside from having Gigan at their disposal, have also created a giant Gorn. Because to me, the original Gorn in the second pilot episode kind of looked like an early Godzilla suit. Wait, right?
Matt, are you telling me you want Gornzilla?
Yes, you got it. You've got it. That's what I want. It's a giant Gorn. So we get a giant Gorn teaming up with Gigan, and the Enterprise is we cannot stop these things. It's kind of beyond us. And Spock's well, there was a reports of a monster back in time that was able to fight off giants like this before. We don't need a whole time travel thing, because the show of Godzilla is kind of implied to have been around since dinosaur times anyway, so they could just have to go back to Earth and try to find him in hibernation or whatever, and then they could use it to they could probably just teleport Godzilla. He's too big to fit on the Enterprise, so we have to figure out that they either teleport or draw the Gornzilla and Gigan into Earth, and then Godzilla would take them on, as we would get the crew of the Enterprise having to go into a mission to sort of snap the control of these characters or something like that, by taking on the typical Gorn as well as the Space Hunter M aliens. So I think that would be pretty fun. I might even throw in somebody else for that kind of show a tag action, I'm leaning Rodan, actually. I've always wanted to see a Rodan Gigan throwdown, so I think that would be fun. We had Godzilla and Rodan as sort of a homage to Invasion of the Astro Monster teaming up to help out in this. I think that would be a fun way to go, most likely. The only problem with the Showa era I see is there's not a ton of not that he'd be left in the future or anything, but like human characters, we have to like make original human characters on the Godzilla end to fit into this. I don't want to do like a Serizawa descendant. That just seems like it's overdone at this point. But we have to come up with some original ones. But that would be where I would go with it. What do you think of that?
I really like it. It's kind of similar to what I had. I really like the idea of the Gornzilla because I'm like, we're already doing Showa campiness. You might as well do it.
Right.
I do like the idea of having someone who isn't the Borg or the Klingon, because we've used the Klingons a lot actually in a lot of the.
Exactly.
Whenever we do TOS, it's always the Klingons.
Right.
So my story is a little similar. Only it's the Romulans as the villains.
Okay.
And basically, the Romulans have been secretly carrying out missions outside of the neutral zone and finding the lost space kaiju, like Ghidorah, Gigan, Hedorah, Space Godzilla. They've even rebuilt the Showa Mecha Godzilla.
Okay.
And they're basically, like, using all the space kaiju as, like, weapons, and they're sending them out into Federation and Klingon space, and, like, having these monsters just destroy planets and colonies. And they're basically like, we can't stop this. Like, the Federation's like, we have nothing that can fight a giant monster. And this would be TOS. I forgot to mention, this would be TOS as well. Because you are right, like, I think if you're going to do a Star Trek Godzilla crossover, it has to be TOS. Because it makes the most sense. And there's another reason why I wanted TOS as well. Basically, the Enterprise is called in by command, by the Council, and they're like, so listen, these kaiju, they've been in the historical records. They've been to Earth before. And there was something that did that beat them and drove them off, and it was Godzilla. And Spock would say, like, oh, Godzilla, the giant monster that first appeared in 1954, he went missing during World War III. In Star Trek canon, there was a World War III.
Okay. Right.
But Godzilla went missing at the end, like, during the events of World War III. They just assumed he was killed, because Japan got literally, I would say, like, have this line of, Japan literally got nuked into a wasteland for decades. So it was just assumed that Godzilla died from it. But no, the Federation revealed, actually, we've always known where Godzilla is. He's been hibernating deep in the ocean, and we have an exact location, and we want you to wake him up. So we can use him to fight these monsters. Like, we're basically going to use him as an attack dog, kind of like Final Wars.
Okay.
But there's kind of this moral quandary, because it's like, they're like, oh, so what are we going to do with Godzilla after the problem? And the Federation's like, we can't really think on that. We can't really... We don't have an option for that. Like, we can't just put him on another planet, because he needs nuclear radiation he needs nuclear radiation that only we can produce here on Earth. And the one person who's going to be like, no, this is bullshit, let him die, or just leave him alone, or kill him, is Sulu.
Okay, yes.
Sulu would reveal that his descendants were terrorized by Godzilla. And he's just like, let him die. We don't need him. Let him, kill him, in fact. Kill Godzilla. And what's going to happen, like, Sulu's the one saying, what do we do with, okay, do you have a plan of what to do with him after? You're going to kill him, right? You're going to, like, put him down, and they're like, and Kirk would be like, he's a living animal, Sulu. He's like, he's a monster that we created from science. You know, I don't think he gets the right to life, personally. So that would be kind of like that opening moral quandary, especially from Sulu, who's like against the idea of using Godzilla. And like even Bones would have the problem of it too. Like I'd even bring up that Bones would be like, so we're just going to use an animal that has no has no conscience of, he has conscience, but he's not like human, like a smart being, but we're going to use him as a soldier and then we're going to throw him away. That's what I'm hearing.
I like that concept because that's often how Bones would bring in the emotional component, and you get like Spock being the more logical, like we need to stop these other monsters for the bigger threat. So that would make sense. Yeah. So it'd be like Bones and Sulu are kind of like on the same page. Only Sulu's like, I vote we don't leave, we just find another solution. But there is no other solution because these like Ghidorah, Space Godzilla, Orga,
Hedera, Mechagodzilla. They're wrecking Federation planets, and they're getting closer and closer to Earth. And the Romulan fleet is, like, prepping, because once, like, basically it's a two-pronged thing, where it's like, the monsters clear the path, and then the Romulans are going to move in from the neutral zone and start claiming planets, and the Federation's going to be too weak or decimated by the kaiju to stop them.
I think it's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah. So basically you would have, like, the Enterprise using Godzilla, and, like, I don't know, like, I wouldn't have him, like, teleported onto the Enterprise, he's too big, but I would have it, like, they've built, like, a ship to, like, as an arc to carry Godzilla, and the Enterprise has to, like, run cover for it. Whenever they're dropping him off on these planets. And Godzilla's just so, like, irritated and rage-filled that he's just like, I'm gonna kill the first thing I see. Oh, hi, Ghidorah!
Right. No, I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's kind of my initial pitch. Is there anything you would like to, like, see in, like, a Star Trek Godzilla crossover?
Yeah, the one thing that I didn't bring up because I'm not sure how it fits, but I think would be fun would be Jet Jaguar appear with the crew of the Enterprise, because he can shrink down, and it would also make sense for him to still be alive by the time Star Trek rolls around. He could be sort of like an ancient relic that still might be able to communicate with Godzilla some way. Might be fun. And then
oh my god, dude. I just had this thought. I'm sorry to interrupt. This thought came to me. What if, like, after Jet Jaguar accomplishes his mission, he meets the grandfather of Dr. Soong, the creator of Data?
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Yes, that's where I was going with it.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I was like...
yeah, great minds. It's okay. Yeah, I'd like to see him meet Dr. Soong, and, like, kind of inspire Data. I think would be really fun and really cool. Neat little nod to the fans there. If we could see Godzilla on alien planets, would be interesting too. I don't think that's something we've ever seen in any of the movies, right?
Except Astro Monster.
Oh, right. We did see him in Astro Monster. You're right. So seeing him on other planets would still be fun, though. Would still be fun to see, I think. Especially ones we recognize in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah. Like, I would, if I was to say, like, this would have to be just Godzilla versus the space monsters, I would have to say, like, the other kaiju went extinct during World War III. Like, they were all killed or, they went missing. I would say that I'd like to have, like, Mothra, like, at least the twins, like, because they're immortal. So I would say, like, maybe for my story, it would be, like, they visit Sulu and try to convince him to, like, let Godzilla's the only one who can save the planet. So, but... the thing of it is like, it's always that moral quandary of, what do you do after the war with the soul? Like, it's kind of like, what happens to the soldier after the war's over?
Well, that might be where, like, a Jet Jaguar comes into play. You can communicate with Godzilla. Actually, maybe for my pitch, Jet Jaguar would fit better than Rodan. It's sort of like a rehash of Megalon, and you can try to convince Godzilla to not re-attack people, and could also be like a human type of character that we put into interacting with the Enterprise. That might be more fun that way.
Yeah. God.
Well, with your pitch too, he still works the same way. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I would love to have a scene where, like, they first wake up Godzilla, and you've got to have, like, first off Godzilla attacking the Enterprise.
Oh, for sure, we need that. Yeah.
But I'd love to have a scene where, like, Godzilla, first thing he does is go to Monster Island, and it's just it's like a demilitarized zone. Like, it got nuked. Like, it just got completely destroyed during World War III. And Godzilla's just kind of standing there like, I'm all that's left. I am it's that moment where it's like, you can't tell that he's, like, saying it. He's not, like, saying anything, but, like, just if you get the right artist, like, I don't know, Matt Frank, and you just see, like, an expression on Godzilla's face of, they're all gone. I'm alone.
That would be cool. Maybe two of you had, I know they teased it in like, King of the Monsters, like, Anguirus's bones just kind of laying there or something like that,
Yeah. I would even have, like, but then it would be like, oh, like, if I was the writer of this book, everyone would be like, that was too much. Like, I have a moment where, like, Godzilla, like, looks down, and sees, like, little bones, and it's Minya's bones.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, that's what I want with Anguirus, but I was thinking the same thing. Yes.
And it's just, like, he's seeing, like, he's, like, walking on what's left of Monster Island, and it's, like, little remnants of each of the monsters, and he's just like, I'm alone.
I think that would That would be really cool. I do. So yeah, that's where I'm going with this story. I think it would be fun to read.
Yeah. As for other things I'd love to see in a crossover like this, I'd love to see a battle between, like a space battle between Ghidorah and the Enterprise.
Oh, for sure. Any of those space monsters taking on the Enterprise would be a blast to see.
Yeah.
No question about it.
I would even say, like, you know what you could do? You could you could have Mechagodzilla, but have him upgraded with like Romulan or Gorn technology or this Hunter M and Nebula. Like now he can cloak.
That would be fun, especially because in Star Trek you don't normally get something with the offensive output of a Mechagodzilla. Just constantly hammering the shield. If you're going like in Terror of Mechagodzilla, see where Godzilla's trying to get to him, and he's just getting bombarded with every inch of Mechagodzilla's body just sending out energy attacks at him. That would be fun to see.
Yeah, I would say there's I would love to have just these massive alien Klingon fleets or Federation fleets, and here come the space it's only one or two of the space monsters, and they just wreck house.
Yeah, I think that I could see in that. It's the Next Generation, but that scene where they're fighting the Borg cube, but instead it's King Ghidorah, but just taking out all the different ships. Would be really fun to see.
Yeah, this would just be a fun crossover, and again, it blows my mind that this could be a possibility from IDW, especially.
Oh, it definitely could. It definitely could. The Godzilla crossover comics, I know the first Power Rangers one was very profitable. It seems like the Justice League Godzilla Kong one's profitable right now too, right?
Oh yeah, it's it's on its first reprinting, and they're also doing a director's cut with the first two issues combined into one issue.
Yeah, and I suspect Power Rangers Godzilla 2 will be successful, so I could see at most they've got no problem doing Star Trek crossovers, right? We've gotten Planet of the Apes, Legion of Superheroes, Green Lantern, right? They're just no issue really doing a Star Trek comic crossover.
Yeah. There's also that Doctor Who one.
The Doctor Who one, right?
Yeah.
That was took forever to get, but finally we did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could definitely happen. It wouldn't surprise us at all. And we've caught a few things recently when it comes to Godzilla crossovers, haven't we? So
yeah, it's weird too because we basically have been predicting beat for beat Godzilla, the Godzilla Kong Justice League book.
Yeah, you're right. Most things that we call, if you go back and watch our video, have happened, and I suspect more are going to from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I don't know if they're listening to us, dude, but
if they're smart, they are.
If they were really smart, they'd hire us.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they can just get our thoughts for free. So why would they?
Yeah.
But you never know. Maybe one day, my friend.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to add to this? Anything else you'd want to have for this kind of story?
I mean, assuming this is a comic book that we're talking about, right? Do you have any idea who you might like to be the artist or the author for this story?
I kind of would love to... Cullen Bunn's been really good on the Power Rangers Godzilla crossovers, but I don't know if Cullen Bunn's the right guy for Star Trek. I'm not saying he's a bad writer, but he's not, I don't think he would be... I don't know. Something tells me he's just not suited for a Star Trek book.
I agree. I agree with that.
What's Chris Mowry doing?
I'm not sure, but he'd be a good pick.
Yeah.
He'd be a good pick.
He, I haven't heard from him in, since Rulers of Earth ended. For artist, my pick would probably be Dan Mora.
Dan Mora's a good pick. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I don't think you could go with the Freddie Williams for Star Trek, right? I don't see him.
Yeah, I love Freddie Williams. I've got to meet him. He's a really cool guy. I love his artwork, but the problem is that he makes things too blocky.
Right. Especially human characters. He can do... Batman kind of works super bulked up, but it wouldn't work for Spock or McCoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be too distracting.
Yeah. So I think those are good picks. Yeah, I got no problem with them. But you really need somebody who understands Star Trek, like you said. So I might lean more heavily into a Star Trek writer for this one, and go from there. So I look at who's done the recent Star Trek comics would probably be my pick. In fact, who's the guy who did Star Trek Planet of the Apes? I thought that one was done pretty well.
It was two brothers. I remember that. I can't. They also did I think one or both of them did the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover too.
Okay. Was it Scott and David Tipton? It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go with those guys. I would go with those guys.
The problem is that Tipton, they're really dialogue heavy. That like the Tiptons really work on Star Trek books, but when it came to Star Trek crossover books, I was like, all right, guys, let's move along.
It might work better for this because you're not getting any dialogue from Godzilla. Even if you put Jet Jaguar in there, you're not getting any dialogue.
That's a fair point. That's a good point.
So, but any number of people could work there. But I mean, I still think it'd be fun crossover to see. So, I'm hoping that IDW continues to listen to us if they are.
I swear to God, if this gets announced at some Comic-Con next year, I'm gonna call you and be like, dude, get a lawyer, please.
I'm with you on that, my friend.
Yeah, I swear to God. I'm gonna be like, okay, they are definitely bugged. They've either bugged my house or like using a bot to subscribe to our channels and listening to us because like this shit ain't funny no more.
No. Fool me once, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've got everything we have for this video. Matt, I want to thank you so much for coming on board. Is there anything else you want to plug real fast? I know you did some shout-outs earlier. Do you have anything else last minute?
I know that would be at the newest Comic Rex from Raven Tail Publishing. Like I said, should be out hopefully in January. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. And you know, you had a little bit of hand in that too. So fans can look forward to that from your channel as well.
Yeah. You're not going to say anything, but like it's the introduction of a monster that I created and maybe may or may not be, you know, making a debut sometime, hopefully soon.
Yes. Yep. Hopefully.
All right. Well, you guys tell us in the comments below what do you guys think of these ideas, and you guys tell us in the comments below how would you do Star Trek versus Godzilla. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.